Liza, you were still the chair, are you,
I'm fine, if you guys are fine with it, I'm fine with it.
is everybody else fine?
Agreed.
Liza still doing
Agreed.
it?
Fine. That's good.
Everybody else? And
Okay,
you'll be the chairperson for this?
Alright, sounds good. Do I have to do a motion and everything then to or no?
I will motion that Liza remains chairperson for 2017.
I'll second that.
Second.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, motion carried.
Okay.
Alright, so set wages, 2017 seasonal employees.
Okay. Last month we were here, of course, I think I gave you guys some wrong information, whatever, as far as the wages go. I hadn't added on that increase from August of last year, whatever, so basically we have, the manager would be at $17.75. This is what he was at last year at the end of the season. Supervisor would be at $13. WSIs would be at $11.25. Lifeguards at $10.25. And admission concession people would be at $9.50. They were the ones that got the 50-cent raise last August through the state. And then everybody else got almost like a 50-cent raise, and that's why it went up. So, but them are the true blue numbers for this coming 2017 season for the aquatic center. Okay?
Sorry, what was the third one?
WSI is
Yeah.
1125.
Yeah.
1125. Okay, sounds good,
Okay.
thank you.
So we should probably have any discussion on that if we have or not, or we should probably make a motion.
Okay.
Okay?
Alright, do we have any discussion on it? You guys have a motion to approve the, should I run through the fees quick? The $17.75 for a manager, $13 for the supervisor, $11.25 for WSIs, $10.25 for lifeguards, and $10.75?
$10.25 for lifeguards.
And then $9.50 for concessions.
We kinda already talked about this, did we not?
We did, but we talked about, I think a few months back, that we weren't probably giving any raises.
Right,
You know,
everything was gonna
stay the same.
Yep.
I came last month though, when we didn't have a good quorum, and I had given you guys, the people that were here, some wrong numbers, so I just wanted to make sure everybody.
Yeah, last month you gave these
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
Where are you with staffing? Are you full?
No, that's a good question, Terry. Basically, we have enough concession admission people. We have around 2021. We had 13, I think, that come back from last year, and I think I added 8 from interviews and the kids that have applied. There has been quite a few that have applied after the interview process. I've probably got maybe another 8 applications sitting on my desk and they all want concessions. So I am still looking for lifeguards. If anybody knows of anybody or a family that is wanting their children to work up at the pool, that would really be appreciated. I do know that in March that I think YMCA is still putting on a lifeguarding class, so kids can still end up being a lifeguard. It'd be nice to be, you're 15 years old and then going into the summer, you turn 16, you can take the class. So if you know of anybody, that'd be great. I'm still looking for about 4 or 5, okay? I'm about 4 or 5 short of lifeguards. Everything else, I think the supervisors, the managers, everything else should be in place. But we got a total, to be honest with you, we only got a total of about 41 or 42 people compared to 60 last year, so we're about 19 down. So these kids that are gonna work this year are gonna get more hours. And I think that won't be a hurtful thing. I think some of the reason why some of the kids didn't come back, 'cause they didn't get enough hours. You see what I'm saying? So we'll go with what we have, and there's not much we can do about it. We got the application for lifeguards out on the website, so if anybody's looking or whatever, just make sure they get a hold of it. Okay?
Sounds good. Alright, so I'll need a motion to approve hours, wages.
I'll make a motion.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
Alright, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So motion carried.
Okay.
Alright. hire Catholic Quantic Center manager, supervisor, and head lifeguard.
Yep, went through this here last month, bring it back again this month since we got our quorum, but, Josh Mitchell, of course, has accepted the manager position, so he'll be hired at manager. I have 2 returning out of the 3 for supervisors. Brianna Knutson will be one for supervisor, and Kaylin Wiggum will be the other supervisor. And then, I talked and kinda interviewed Tanner Default. He's been there at our pool for quite a few years. Great kid, good swimmer. So he will be the other supervisor. And with that, I last year had 1 head lifeguard. It came to the point in August that we were kinda shuffling people, 'cause people go back to college, people whatever. So I'm gonna go with 2 head lifeguards this year. One would be Abigail Chosis, and the other one would be Benjamin Peters. Now, they won't get any extra money. They're both WSIs. They'll still stay at $11.25, but I like to have 2 this year, just in case, you know, someone leaves or someone's not around and you got a couple shifts, and, so at least we're covered with people that are in charge of taking care of the money and making sure everything gets going, right? So basically, them are the 6 people. That'll be our supervisors, head lifeguards, and manager for the 2017 season. Good group of kids, people, good group.
So then we need a motion to.
Motion to, all right. I didn't get a couple of the names written down, but,
I'll
so
get
it's,
you.
okay, well, it's Josh Mitchell as the manager, and Brianna Knutson, Kaylin Wiggum, and Tanner Dufault as supervisors, and then Abigail Chosis as head lifeguard, and Benjamin Peters as head lifeguard. All right, I need a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion.
Anyone? Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. And then down to the Boulevard Tree Program.
Yeah, if anybody does not know, our Boulevard Tree Program really actually starts up here in February. Me and Jan got this all together, and we got it out on our website now. I think if you go to the City of Caston's website, and you click on, Jan put it on the front page, that just go underneath a certain thing and click on it, and it'll bring this up, this form here, the Boulevard Tree Planning Form. What it is really, it's the list of the trees where, we like to make sure that these trees are only on the boulevard, just because, I don't like to have trees that have nuts and all this other stuff that are gonna cause problems out in the streets or out in the gutters or the storm where the water goes down in. So, I added 2 trees this year. I actually added, Kentucky coffee tree and that, autumn gold ginkgo. And the reason why, going to these classes, like I said in the past, these 2 are pretty much the 2 trees that the university said that, they are almost disease-free and bug-free, and they have been for quite a while, and they've been doing research on this. And also, we'd like to see more of a, different variety type of trees on our boulevards instead of maples. Like I said last month, I went up to the Green Expo, and the gentleman, his name is Dr. John Ball from the University of South Dakota, and he was over in China, and what's really scary, he showed a picture on the screen that he was standing in a forest where it was full of maples, and every one of them were dead. And it's scary. So, don't know if that bug will ever get over here, but who knows, you know, whatever. So, what we need to do as foresters or people that are in charge of trees in the communities, we need to make sure we have a different variety that we can put up, you know. Right now, I know we did that survey in the research, we had 36% of our trees are maples. That's a lot of maples in our town. 18% was ash, and we're gonna get rid of all them. So, 36%, that's a lot.
What's the growth on those trees? I mean, what's the?
How fast they
Yeah.
grow.
How fast, it kind of,
Hardy.
it difference, in variety or the species, what it is. Autumn blaze maples, you know, they grow real fast. Royal red maple don't grow fast, they're more of a medium type grower. So, depending on what kind of maple tree that you do put in, whatever, you know, like a fall fiesta or, whatever, it has a different growth rate, whatever. And then when I I sell these to the people, when I meet with them on the boulevard or in front of their home, I go through that with them, so they know. Some people just like that purple color, that red, royal red maple, and then some like that bright orange, or, you know, yellow, orange, red for like a sugar maple, so it kinda depends on that. You know, I kept the cathedral elm because the cathedral elm, to be honest with you, is still one of the nice elms that I cannot say entirely it's Dutch elm disease free, but 99% it probably is, and it'd be nice to get some elms, some bigger elms back on our boulevards in our community. So we have sold them in the past. Northern red oaks, we kinda actually put them in about 2-3 years ago. People have bought them. I think I sold around 7 or 8 of them last year. Beautiful tree, kind of a medium grower, but it's a beautiful tree, and it's really, you know, oak's great wood, you know, so, like to see that kinda happen more. Lindens, of course, they're a messy tree, I hate to say it, they're a beautiful shaped tree, them are the ones out there on Manville Avenue, them are, you know, green, lady leaf lindens, the green spire ones, beautiful tree. You know, in the fall, they get real messy. You've seen it on Highway 57 there, it gets pretty messy, but they're still a beautiful hardy tree, and we went through a lot of wind with them, and they withstand a lot of, plus all the salt on the boulevards, you know what I'm saying, so that's a key too. Our flowering crabs, we pretty much do that with people that underneath energized wires, of course, they only grow up to be about 20-25 feet tall, so I sell them. And then some people just like to see the red crab, or they just like to see the white flower crab, you know, in front of their little color. Thing about them, they only last 3 weeks, you know, and then they'll lose their flowers.
First rain after they
Yep. So, but this ginkgo tree is a beautiful tree. It's really a gold type, yellow type tree. It's been out in Ohio and Iowa, and in Ohio, it's been the tree of the, you know, state tree for years. It's where people are starting to go more ginkgo than they were the ashes, because the ashes were wiped out down there in Ohio where it kinda started, so, and you can see they're a little bit more expensive, $120. But basically, when I meet with people, I go through all this, we measure the boulevards, I look at where all the, you know, hydrants are, street lights, shut-off valves, all that stuff, so it's really a good program. I have only had about 2 people so far this year call on it, and I think it's because me and Jan talked about this, we need to, get Krista to get up and get our message board going out on Main Street, plus I know Greg in the past.
We did it last week.
Oh, you did, good,
Yeah.
okay, so Greg has helped us out sometimes too on his message board, that kinda sometimes throws.
Is that a hint?
Yeah, I just kinda was.
But we gotta start putting in funding for that, or?
No,
Yeah.
no, we're okay.
Yeah, we
No.
send out a newsletter too, of course, it's a
Thank
monthly
you.
newsletter out, and we have
Nothing's
that
free
out
anymore.
there.
You just offer that in the spring now then, though?
Just
or
in the
what?
spring, yep, that's the best time to really actually plant these type of bare whipstock trees.
Well, that's what I wondered, 'cause you guys all wrote a report after you come back from that tree inspector, workshop in Hutchinson.
Yep,
And at least a couple of them reviews said that you should plant them in the fall.
depends on really what the communities do, you know, in the fall, whatever. I would prefer to get a good growing season and watering going into them, you know, and we've always planted them in the spring.
I've done a lot better, I've done a lot of
Mhm.
evergreens, and I have a lot better luck in the fall, because you get them in there and get them watered good before the frost, and they're pretty well set by spring then, by the time you get the change of the thing and everything, you know.
Yep.
I always had better luck that way.
Okay.
Because you get a hot summer, you gotta really water, you know.
Right, you know, and I understand that, you know, and that stuff, but I think what we do is because most times is that the nurseries lose their stock.
That's weird.
By the middle of the summer, everybody's already been into the nursery.
You're hooked up with someone that comes
Yeah,
with all the
yeah. We've had a contractor, Treehouse, out of down by Chester. They've been doing this since early '80s, when Lester Meyer was even the park director, and Ron Bastian and them guys. They set that all up, and they stayed true blue to the city. His name is Todd Erkey. They're fabulous. They come up and they do a great job, so, that's kinda who we've been, you know, working with in the past, so. But other than that, if you know of anybody that wants trees, whatever, have them get a hold of me, and I'll get them on the list, and, if we could do a little, advertising or whatever.
Yep, putting it in the newsletter again
And
too.
Yes, we'll put it in the newsletter.
It is
so-
on the sign
Can I
too,
buy a
so.
tree?
You
And
know,
not
on
be on the boulevard?
the chamber will.
Yeah, it's gotta be on the boulevard for this program.
Anything
Yep.
in there.
You can't, buy
We're on
one
the
and then
shop
hang
floor
it in
one
the yard.
I'm on the
It's gotta be
chamber and I haven't
restricted
even
boulevard.
put the
Yep.
booklets too.
Yep.
Cause that might be a really good spot, just to put in a little blurb under the city of Casson, just a thought for next year. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up next year maybe.
Can we get a few trees over at Diamond Park maybe on the boulevard?
Yeah, depending on, if we don't have very many, whatever, I've got so much budget, I mean, yeah, we can start putting some trees there, we gotta put a bunch of trees down there for that, park down there for the frisbee golf course too, but I budgeted 4,000 for that separately, for bigger trees to go in down there. But yeah, we'll definitely have to start putting some trees in around our park down there northeast and stuff, correct. Yep.
Right,
Okay.
anything else? Alright, up to, update on the emerald ash trees and tree
Yep,
maintenance.
just wanted to give you a update on all of our EAB stuff. EAB, like I said, was detected, everybody knows that here. We're quarantined, the county. We started our program, we have a nice program. I've had calls from Lake City, I've had calls from Stewartville, I've had calls from, over by Janesville. And they've always asked what we're doing because, they've heard through the grapevine that for a small community, we got a pretty decent program set up, which I think we do. And that's thank you to you guys and myself and the council that went ahead and gave that 10-year, deal for treating the trees. I think that's a great thing that happened for our community, and a lot of the communities thought, hey, that's not a bad idea. So, I know Lake City, I talked to her just here recently, and they got 615 or 620 ash trees. We only have 235. They got 615. They counted theirs on the boulevard. They got a lot of work ahead of them. But they do the same thing we do. Their outfit, I mean, the street department, park department, sometimes electric department, whatever, they'll come in and they'll take certain amount of trees down, and that's how they have to do it. So that's what their plan is, but they thought it was kinda neat. I sent our door hanger and information that we had out, whatever, and mailed it to her, the assistant, public works director over there in Lake City, and so they were gonna kinda do something with us. But anyway, back to ours. We have a total of 53 trees that was on our removal list. 26 of them trees were ashes. I wanted to try to get at least 25 that the people that turned in them orange cards and brought them back to us. I'd like to get at least 25 started on them. Right now, we've got 14 off that list gone, and we got 14 off the other removal list. So we're a little over half in that stuff. So I think we're in pretty good shape. I think the rest of the ash tree list, we're gonna be able to get that done here, hopefully by, the first week or so into March, depending on the weather, of course. That's kind of the key, but, I think for all removals, we'll have everything done, before the middle of March, I'm hoping. So pretty much what we've always done every year, so that's a good thing. Plus, we got rid of some of the ash trees that we know that people have said they wanna get rid of, but, electric guys have helped us. Todd's crew has went out and, used, their bucket truck to get some of the bigger trees that were hanging over homes and stuff, so that's helped out a lot, and that stuff, so, I gotta take my hat off to Todd's crew and the electric guys for helping out doing this too for us, so.
Kinda have a count of how many people are saving trees yet?
Right now, I got probably about, I'd say probably about 12 places, 12 homes, different properties. I do know there's a couple in the making yet that are thinking about doing it, you know, out of the people here in town, so there's not a lot.
Right.
But there is some, so, yeah, they've been contacted, they work directly pretty much with True Green or J. Meyer Tree Service down there. That's who they've been pretty much having coming up and doing their treatments on their trees, so. And of course, that stuff starts here in the spring, they can't treat them during the winter,
Right.
of course, they're dormant.
I was just wondering,
Yep.
you know, after the meeting and everything, how many people actually,
Cared.
Yeah,
and that's what
true.
it's gonna come down to.
Yep, it's gonna come down
Pretty soon
to.
it's gonna come down to us just taking trees.
Yep, exactly. Now, of course, we got a big pile out there out to our wastewater plant, and, we've been waiting for the perfect day for we had a southeast wind to be able to do it, because we did have the neighbor next door, Dennis Holtz, whatever, come over and talk to Charlie and myself, and was really concerned about us burning, you know, quite frequently, like we had in the past. So me and Charlie thought about it, and we decided that, we'll burn periodically once the pile gets pretty big, and we'll give him a call out of courtesy, just to let him know when we are gonna burn, and, start it up when we have the right wind and stuff to get it to go, but, sooner or later, you know, we'll have to get it all burned down and stuff, but we got a pretty good pile going right now, so, just to let you know, as far as burning goes. Anything else? Any questions on that?
No. All right, we'll move to the 2017 Movies in the Park.
Movies in the,
Already.
yep, in the movies in the park, I thought I'd bring this up, as we usually do in February. We gotta start thinking about what we're gonna do. We do have the money in the budget again. I think we budgeted $1,000 again. Where that pays Kurt, right? Correct, Jan?
Yeah.
It pays him for putting on the movies, and I know Kurt was still interested in doing it after last year, so I think we have no problem with that. It's just about what movies we're gonna have again, and how many, and sponsors. So, I wanted to bring it out, just to kinda throw it out there, think about some of the, you know, how we can get it out to maybe some of the businesses that might wanna sponsor them again, like we have in the past.
Yeah.
I don't expect the same businesses all the time to keep sponsoring the movies, you know, and I know Liza and Greg, you've been very grateful for that, and, you've been doing that for quite a while, but, you know,
Has anybody asked anybody else? I mean,
you know, I don't know.
Not really, nobody's
Yeah.
gone out and asked,
No.
it was just, hey, you guys wanna sponsor a movie?
Kind
You know
of
what I
word
mean?
of mouth
I
thing.
asked
Yeah.
Events last year, but he didn't contact me back.
Who did?
Events,
Mhm.
Tony.
Yeah, whatever,
I did
yeah.
ask him, I
Yeah.
called him.
Okay.
I've asked Holden Federal, and Matt, he has to go through a whole kind of thing, 'cause it's corporate.
Mhm.
So it's hard for him to get an answer back to me.
Kinda like Quick
On
Trip,
that.
same thing.
Mhm.
Quick Trip is the same
Yeah.
thing, I talked to Julie about it, gotta go
Right.
through the corporate office.
Oh, Bremer Bank.
What is it,
Yeah.
300 a movie?
Bremer's top two.
I think it is, 300 a
Yeah,
movie
300.
it is, yep.
I'd be willing to do half of a movie with my exchange program,
Okay.
if somebody else would co-sponsor with me.
I'll co-sponsor with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I missed mine last year, I had baseball.
Yeah.
With them, so I wasn't even at mine. But no, I would do that with you. And I can get a hold of Maggie and Marlo,
Okay.
and,
Yeah, they did last year.
Paula, they split
Paula.
last year. I
Yeah, I
think they
know them
enjoyed
three
doing
really
it,
well.
so.
So I'll give them guys a call.
Well, we
And
can-
Country Pleasures.
And you can bring it up at the
No.
chamber meeting as well,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, 'cause, and we can
Absolutely.
send something across the chamber as if somebody wants to sponsor, or two people want to co-sponsor, or try-sponsor.
Or
movie.
try, or
'Cause
quadruple,
that's why it's
whatever.
$100
Mhm,
but we'd need the dates,
Right.
right.
you know, locked in, so
Want me to talk to
businesses,
the
so
Lions?
that'd be.
Yeah, they
And the
sponsored the
time.
last couple of years.
And the
Yeah, I'll ask them,
So
we're
maybe
gonna
by
have a
next
coming up.
Okay.
month, we could narrow down the movies and the dates.
Mhm.
But
And
from
then
there,
we
it should
could
be
let
hard to.
everybody know next month.
Oh, that sounds good. Appreciate all you guys going out and putting the effort out to do that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
very nice to do that.
They get good turnout.
Well, it's kinda cool to go up and just watch the movies. I went to two of them
Mhm.
last year, and
Mhm.
Jan's been there, and, Jan, I haven't seen you there, you're in the front row, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one with all
Kids
popcorn.
Screaming, big pull.
Yeah. Brought my
Popcorn
cup
flying all
popcorn.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really kinda cool. Last year, it's really nice weather,
Yeah, we did.
so,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't see why, you know, we got almost 80 members in the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, gosh, yeah, well, and a lot of them don't know,
Right,
so.
you know, because they don't hear or see, but we can
Right.
bring it
We'll
up, and
mention something.
you get me to, put me on the agenda, and I can, you know, in 2 months, and I'll say, okay, Chamber guys, let's see, you want your business to be known, there's a chance for you to get out there and be part of the community, and,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't cost a lot to do it, so.
So we'll figure, yeah, so in March we'll have
There what,
the
4
movies
movies?
picked,
I
4
think we
movies
had
or
4
5
last
movies?
year, didn't
We
we?
did have
I think we had
4.
We've
4
done-
last year.
cause the
It
festival did
depends,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've usually done about 3 in there one,
Then
then
they're
we've
one,
had 4
yeah.
total, so.
Yep.
So 3 we would need
Yeah.
sponsors for,
Yeah.
really only 2.
Right, and that should be
Yeah,
hard.
people will jump on that in a heartbeat, okay,
Mhm.
we'll do that. So how do we, get a list of movies? We just kinda came up with them last year and threw them out there.
Can we contact that? Can we
Jan,
con-
did
can-
you, have the gals in the office just kinda pick some?
Yeah,
We've done
didn't
that
we?
some, yeah,
Krista did too last year.
yeah.
Okay.
And they're good ones.
That we kinda picked some out too here
Yeah.
before.
Yep, we did.
I've got a catalog in the first. So,
If Jan's got a calendar, maybe we can throw our
Yeah.
2-3 cents in or some. maybe
we've been
in the
doing it
next
enough
month or
years,
so.
it's kinda hard, I'm
Right.
running out of oldies but goodies, you know, that come to mind right away.
Is this something that we could have at the pool, you know, have a top, 15 movies, what would you wanna see if it was? 'Cause you got a lot of kids, a lot of parents, and if you can get them involved in picking a movie,
Right.
They
Only
might have a
problem
better
is that
chance of
don't we
showing
have
up.
to order ahead of time?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And they've got
Ah, yeah,
certain
sure.
blackout dates for Disney movies.
that's right.
Correct,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, we do Twister, that'd be one of them, Stormy Night.
Yeah.
3D.
Be good for kids.
Twister 3D. Now in 4D.
Yeah.
Well,
we-
we'll just, yeah. what do
Didn't
you
we,
think?
in the past, didn't we like email out some movies? And then didn't we all kinda say, yeah,
We
yeah, and
did.
then at March we said, this is it.
yeah, we've done kinda anything.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you think of any that you think would be good,
Email you and then you
yeah,
can forward
we
it.
can kinda talk about it next month.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, part-time, part worker.
I brought this up here to you guys, cause I think, you guys should kinda know what's kinda happening here as far as our people that do help us in the summertime. We used to have part-time worker, or workers, that would work from the months of April, pretty much all the way through the middle of April to the middle of October, basically a 6 months job. They'd work 40 hours a week. Their pay was only like around 10, 11, 12 bucks an hour, but we had, good reliable people. Actually, we ended up having, a couple of retiree guys that were old farmers that did an excellent job for a couple of years for us. And, they ended up all, drawing unemployment, on the city, after the summer season was done, or the fall season was done. I do know when the new council come in, 2 years ago, they, thought that, to pay overtime, or to pay, unemployment benefits to a part-time person wasn't really a, maybe financial good situation for the city to do that. So, in turn, we ended up going to, hiring, college or high school kids. Because high school or college kids, number one, you don't have to pay unemployment benefits to them. They can work a couple months or whatever months we get out of them, and then they can't apply and they can't get unemployment on that. So that's one of the good benefits to have that. It's not really a problem, but the concern that I have is that I've had 2 years of it, and I've hired 4 people, and 3 out of the 4 people quit 2 to 3 weeks early before the season was even done. That throws me into a heck of a bind as far as trying to get things and keep things going, especially in the month of August. And when kids are going back to school, and the park's gotta get mowed, and we have our festival, and we have all this stuff coming up, and then all of a sudden we're minusing some help. So, basically, I kinda, try to figure out another way where we could possibly, maybe not, pay that unemployment benefit, to have part-time workers. And so I met with, Teresa and our, finance director Nancy, and then, Linda, who does a lot of the payroll stuff and knows the ins and outs as far as, part-time people, full-time people, all the things. And Obamacare, that all has a lot to do with it. But anyway, we found out that basically we could hire a part-time parts worker pretty much year-round, 52 weeks, at 25 hours a week, and we were gonna start him on the scale, start a person at $13.40 an hour. You can do that and not end up having to pay unemployment benefits to that person. It doesn't have to be a college person or a high school person. I mean, it could be anybody off the street. Preferably, it'd be great if we could have a guy that's retired, somebody that's really reliable. So that was just the other option, that was out there. So I wanted to bring that up tonight and give them options and let you guys know that's kind of what it is. Would I love to have two people work, you know, them 6 months? Me preferably, I'd love to have them work from April till October. That's my best bang for the buck, that's when I need them the most, that's when they work 40 hours a week, that's when I get reliable people, and they know their equipment, they know what to do, and I would love to have that happen, but with that comes possibly unemployment benefits, so that's
And
the
insurance.
situation, and the insurance.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
So, but part-time worker now, if you go, 52 hours, I would probably prefer them to work 7 to 12 o'clock every day, 5 hours a day. In the afternoon, you pretty much drag ball fields and do things anyway in the afternoon, that a lot of the mowing and the park maintenance and the garbage details all done in the mornings anyway. But it would be coming to work from 7 till noon. So, is there a person out there? Don't know,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not retired yet, but I can.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I got
I mean,
somebody
we don't
in
know, I
mind.
mean, that's the whole key here, to hiring
Well,
people.
The thing with retirees, if you're retired, you shouldn't be collecting unemployment anyways.
Correct,
But
correct.
they can now,
Yeah, but, you know what I mean.
They can because they can, that's the key.
Yeah.
Oh, it's extra income, yeah, I'll
Right.
just file unemployment.
But I mean, years ago, you couldn't have anything kind of an income and draw unemployment, but now you can, Social Security, you can still draw unemployment.
Mhm. So it's
It's a fact.
a situation I think that you guys need to be aware of what's happening. I mean, do I end up maybe getting high school, college kids here again? I may, I don't know, but all I know is that I only have them for 2 months, and I got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work from April till the middle of October, and then with all the stuff that goes on with the other departments, such as street department, blacktopping, such as the new plant going in this year, everybody's gonna be, tied up, quite a bit, so I rely on them people. I mean, I rely on them people to mow 80 acres
Well,
and to weed with.
I look at it this way, the city's growing, staff will eventually grow, and you're gonna need staff, and probably the best way in any business is to have them work for you part-time, more year-round, so they understand it, and you're gonna get to know better, is this the person I wanna hire full-time? And, it's not about the insurance on somebody else, because it's not that much to employ people. So it's not, I got one more person, I have to insure them. That's so minor that it's not even a thought. Unemployment, well, that could be anybody, they can get hurt, they can get fired, they can get whatever, and to rely on a college kid or a high school kid to come in and do a job that is just so littly focused on, and like you said, you get it for 2 months, maybe 2.5, and that's it. That doesn't help you is what you gotta do to maintain, so, so to get a part-time worker, and that may become a full-time worker. It's not gonna cost down the road, it may not cost the city that much more to make sure that you've got somebody that, you're gonna have somebody that's gonna have probably a phenomenal skill that you didn't realize that part-timer had. Next thing you know, that person is almost doing, the job of 2 people themselves. There are those people that are out there, it's like, God, I wish I had 5 of these guys and a lot less of this, but unfortunately, this is the working world, but,
So I, like I say, I mean, it's all.
Where is the line with if you're a part-time job, I don't think you can draw any unemployment on, is that line at 25 hours or 24 hours, or where?
Yep, that's the line. Yep, that's the line. You can't work more than 25 hours a week, and then it's based on total hours for the year, or a certain amount. Isn't it, Jan? That's kind of what it is. I think that's what Linda told me. But you can't have anything over 20, because then Obamacare and the insurance and all that stuff kicks in.
And probably para.
And para does too, PRA.
Hey, Ronnie,
Yep.
can't you use some of the folks from the arena during the summer?
No.
Can't?
No, they're all pretty much gone doing other jobs or doing something different. Yep. No. Plus, they got limited hours too.
Okay.
Yep, they're limited hours too for a year. They can only make like, or work up to like 1,065 hours or 960 hours, and then you gotta start paying PRA benefits to them and doing different things too. So it's based on hours and worked, you know what I mean? So, the only way the best way that we could get through this is this part-time worker, you know? Now, there's questions out there, well, how do you keep a guy, and I know this, how do you keep him busy, you know, for year round? Well, number one, in the winter time, I do agree, you know, he would end up probably not doing park and rec stuff because we're pretty much shut down, but there's always needed help at the ice arena. There's always needed help for doing tree work, cause we got a bunch of tree work to do, we all know that. And cleaning, painting, regular maintenance in our buildings. I mean, even our building's 6 years old out there, I mean, you know, from AB Systems, all that stuff leaked in, it's all rusted on the side of the walls. That's gotta get all repainted, all redone. There's things that can be done in the inside of most of our buildings. So, maintenance-wise, we could keep them busy, you know, for 25 hours a week. So there is other things that they could be used for. But, like I say, I gotta get this out there soon because it's already going into March, and I need someone in April here pretty quick. You know, I need to get it advertised and get it out there to the city, so,
I think your biggest challenge is trying to find somebody that has Monday through Friday, the mornings open. That's
Right.
gonna be your biggest challenge.
that's the biggest challenge. And
I don't know if it's
understand.
a challenge, if you have somebody that just wanna work 7 to noon, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's based on on the scale, on our pay scale. Teresa showed me it'd be $13.40, that'd be the lowest to start out at, you know. I know.
Well, what you've had for summer help were there all day, I mean, you could shift their hours, you could have 2 of them at that part-time, but I'd like to see them just from, April to October.
Right.
Instead of trying to find something to do with them in the winter.
Right.
But you know, for what you've been spending on summer help or whatever, you've been used to have 2 guys around, but you could split them, you could have all day long, one of, you know, 2, you know,
Mhm.
3 days one week to the
Mhm.
next, whatever, how you really wanna split it, or.
See,
Or
personally-
one guy like mornings, one afternoons, you could have that,
Right.
you could have
Personally, you
more or
get
less
the-
a full-time guy then.
Right, you get your best bang for your buck. You really do from April to October for the park department. You really, really, truly do. And we need that. And you're right, I'd love to have 2 bodies, because I need 2 bodies. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, we have a lot of things to do. And I know now that the street department, I mean, they got a lot of stuff on their plate. And there's times where us guys from the park gotta go and help them. And that's just the way it is, that we're share cost, we're Public Works, you know? This doesn't mean that we're parks, it doesn't mean that we're, you know, whatever, we try to work together.
Interdepartmental, yep.
Yep, so, but yeah, it'll be up to the, you know, I think Teresa's gonna bring it back up to the council, and then, we can try to see what we can come up with. If the council's willing to go with that, like Doug was saying, possibly that April till October, I would love that. I personally would love that, you know, but then there might be a situation, I don't know totally about the unemployment benefit. I don't know, you know, that would have to be all worked out, figured out hours and stuff like that.
I think that there's gotta be an hourly,
Well,
how many hours a week you can work before you're eligible for it, isn't there?
There is, but I don't know if it depends.
I
if-
tried to make some calls
if it-
today, and I
don't know if
couldn't get through to
municipal is
anybody.
different than in my situation. You know, I don't know if there's that's why I'm not sure if there is or there isn't. But city pays unemployment insurance anyways.
No, we pay after the fact.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
Okay, see, there you go, I pay.
See, it's different.
Yeah, you pay up front. We
Yeah,
pay after the fact.
because,
Different
you know,
rules from the city to the private, see.
So that's where the, you know, unemployment insurance is just insurance, it happens and, you know.
So that's what I mean, there's hours, and like you said, there's total hours involved, and how many shoot, whatever, and that would have to be, you know, explained. And the way I understood it from Teresa and Linda and Nancy, you can correct me, Jan, if we went to 6 months, you would have to pay unemployment.
Even though it may be a six-month
Well,
contract.
and the bigger thing is the Obamacare, you've had enough hours where you have to offer health insurance and all that stuff.
Yeah,
'Cause that's the bigger issue right there.
yeah.
Because unemployment, even our lifeguards technically, I mean, we've had
Correct.
our manager draw unemployment,
Yep.
that ones that weren't students, so.
Colleen did that, a first-year manager,
Right.
she drew unemployment.
So
for
it isn't
how
so
many
much
years?
they're the hours, it's the fact that they're a full-time employee, but the number of months, that's the Obamacare rule, so we would have to offer them health insurance and care and all that stuff.
That would have to all be readjusted
But
through
is,
Obamacare.
but is the health insurance paid by the employer, paid by the employer, the city?
It's a split.
So
The
you-
city
so you
kicks
have
in a-
something, so you have
we all
some
pay
plans. Okay. Yeah, that's
So we're
getting.
kinda in
On
the
those
fun.
wages, it'd be about 15 grand a piece for the for the health package.
Yeah. So like I say, I mean.
You get
it-
up to the other guys, it's closer to 20.
I just wanna make that aware of what's out there and what's happening, and I know you guys, I mean, it's not a recommendation to the council will have the final say, but I just want everybody to know and understand what we look at, you know, from year to year and help, you know, and, you know, the city's getting bigger and we got responsibilities and.
So in essence, you need somebody for those 6 months.
I would
Not-
love to
not
have
for
somebody
2.5.
for 6 months,
So they need to look for somebody for 6 months, not 2.5
not 2.5.
months, not
Right,
a
I-
college kid.
yeah,
So,
right.
you know, so look for that, whatever happens for unemployment or whatnot, it's gonna happen regardless if that's the case. Now, if you can't, what happens if the council decides, or you need to look at, the council does, you employ them for the year, you know, 25 hours a week or 24 hours a week, let's say, and it is the dead of winter, and you don't have a lot of things to do, and he doesn't gain his hours, you're gonna lose that guy.
Right.
Okay, not saying it's a bad thing, but if he willingly quits, I don't know, at least I don't have to pay an appointment. Well,
That's any job though.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
part-time
that's-
or full-time, you have that opportunity where
That's why you
things
can't
do
take
slow
the
down.
unemployment side, you can't picture that saying, I can't do this because this could happen. You need to do this because this is what I need, and here's my base of my window I need to do it in, to be
Right.
efficient.
Right.
From there, you have to move forward and see what happens as part of any business, so.
So, I just kinda wanted to make clear,
Okay.
and I know Doug being the council rep, I mean, that's a tough decision to make, but I thought at least explain everything as best as I know, or what I've heard through the office out here, and it'll come down to the council, and we'll see what all happens, really, basically, that's what it all comes down to. Because one way or the other, if I get the 6 month, or if I get the full year, or I just get the 2 months for the, I gotta get something out there, I gotta get people, 'cause I have no one right now. So I got, the decision somewhere, somehow's gotta get made here soon, so, okay?
All right,
Thank you.
you bet. All right, down to old business, the ice arena, update.
I'll let Terry talk here a little bit too, I'll just throw a few things out there that I do know, that, the old Zamboni actually got repaired, it's finally, back up and running. I can't think of the gentleman's name, but he's the one that's always worked on it, he,
Ryan Mueller.
Yeah, Mueller, he does a lot of repair for Stussy's out there, I know he does that too out there for all the machinery at the quarry, but come in, got everything up and going, everything's all fixed on the old Zamboni, so that's a great thing, so that's moved out of where it was sitting by the gate there, the fence, so now that's better, so we have another one there. The only problem with that unit, there's still a situation where, the natural gas pump that we've been running that thing on is shot, the pump itself, and it's old, and even to get parts for it, may not, the way I understand through Howie, we might not be able to get the parts for the pump. We may end up having to purchase a new pump, which is quite expensive, and Howie's looking into that to see how much a new pump for that natural gas. Now, with that, we have our new electric, we have our new electric Zamboni, so do we need that new pump for the backup right now?
It'll run
Maybe
on
not.
LP, won't it?
But it will run on LP, so you could put an LP little station outside the building, which I know Grand Marina does, they run on LP and stuff, and we can convert that older unit back over to LP, just for a decent backup. But that's just something that I wanted to make everybody aware of, that, we do have it up and running, but the source of fuel is gonna have to be decided on how we wanna do that for a backup. I mean, if we just leave it set there and not do nothing, then
What we, originally, that was, that compression pump was furnished to us by what is now CenterPoint Energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a test program to liquefy natural gas to run in the Zamboni. Maybe it would be worth reconnecting with those folks and see if they wanna continue
Well, I
that
think Howie had a
program.
call into it, but, nobody responded back to him. The way I understood, so.
Gene Graves was my contact on that,
Yeah.
and he's the one
Yeah.
that,
And a lot of them older people and the whole thing, you know, they're, the way Howie said, they ain't around no more.
That's what happens to old people.
Yeah, you know, they're retired, but Howie's still making calls, he's still trying to get it figured out, you know, maybe, and the way he understood it, that they couldn't refurbish the pump. That's the way I understood it, he called people, and you might wanna check with that,
How
Gary, if
often do you
want
think
to.
this thing would get used?
See, that's the thing.
Why put so much money into it if it's not gonna be used? The longer it sits, the more money you're gonna have to stick into it.
Right, and then the longer it sits and doesn't get used, it's hard on it too.
You got it.
Yep, so I mean, there's two things there, you know,
I mean, it's something that they're.
if I was running that place, I'd convert it over to LP and just use it as a backup,
Mhm.
if it was me.
Right.
If they're willing to replace that pump, that'd be a different horse of a different color.
Right. So it's a situation where, you know, just knowing that there's the situation of not having the fuel to take care of the backup. And like Jason makes a valid point, I mean, how often are we gonna use it? Well, one thing about it, Mike Bolster likes to use the older one to go outside, because it cuts better for the outdoor rink, it really truly does. And use, you know, not saying that just because of the outdoor rink we need that Zamboni, but we never used the Zamboni, the new one, out to the outdoor rink this year. We didn't wanna take the chance, we actually just hand flooded it, and we had pretty decent ice. I think that ice was almost up to about 6 inches, 7 inches deep. We did have great ice there for a while. Of course, now it's just cement, but we did have a good thing there. But the key to that is that older Zamboni really did a great job on that when we first started that rink out there a few years back.
Your pump you're looking at just pumps the natural gas into
The way I understand it,
No, it liquefies,
It liquefies.
it liquefies natural gas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Compressed, what that ran on is what they call LNG, liquefied natural gas. And what it would do is compress it to where it would come from a gas to a liquid state. And then they'd put it in the tanks and it would run the Zamboni.
Yeah.
The thing that CenterPoint Energy wanted to do is sell that from the point of reduced emissions to you. You know, they used us as kind of a test program. They went in there and monitored the air quality and all that kind of stuff and used it to try to get it in other arenas around the state. But, if
For outdoor,
pump shot,
if you're
That's the
talking
way
for
I
using it
understand it,
outdoor,
too.
I don't see any
The way
problem
Howie told me.
with using it LP.
LP, yeah, I mean, that isn't
and as
a
far as
big
using
deal.
it outside, the emissions
Yeah,
aren't
LP
an
right
issue
now.
out there.
Right. So it would have to be, I'm sure there'd be a little, you know, maybe a little expense to convert it over to LP, but it probably wouldn't be as much as trying to fix that pumper by.
I think it's set up to run dual fuel right now.
Yeah, I think it's just a conversion to convert it over.
Well, all you gotta do is flip a switch, depending on what
I think it's
fuel
more
you're
than
using.
that, I think it was more than that, the way I understood.
Cause we run it on LP.
Right.
We have run it on
Yeah,
LP.
you have, and then you switched it back over to
Yeah.
natural gas, yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, that's kinda what I was told here through how we hear the last couple days here last week, so that was something just to be brought out to you guys about that. But it is fixed and repaired, so it is ready to go, so that's great. Other than that.
Where is it gonna be stored at?
It'll be stored still at the arena. They have a spot for it where they're gonna have to use it and put it there. I mean, you know, if we took it out of the arena and stored it in one of our buildings, of course, you know, then it would never get started. It would just sit there and just, you know, rust away. So it'd be better off still, if we could, keep it at the arena and be able to use it periodically on certain things. I think that's kinda what they were talking about, so that was. As far as anything else with the arena, whatever, we got our new, the staff got their new sweatshirts, and that stuff, and they're all wearing them, and they turned out really nice. They're gold on top and black, and they got staff on the back, and people have called and appreciated that, Howie said, so, I mean, everybody knows who's working that night, so that worked got that all taken care of. And I know that Nancy was meeting with Howie on, income and stuff like that, and, assets and stuff like that here, I think today or tomorrow, about, monies coming into, monies and debts coming out of the arena here in this last year, so, but other than that, Terry, you can add anything, that's kind of.
Well, the last time we met, you were talking about meeting with the school and
Yep.
Howie and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
Did that ever happen?
Yep, we're still doing that, we're still gonna meet, but, we thought that we'd probably wait here probably till after the hockey season, kinda calm down a little bit from the high school hockey season and that stuff. I talked to Teresa about it, and yes, we are gonna meet with, and Howie agrees, we're gonna meet with, I did tell Brock, and he said, no problem. So, the school knows that we're gonna meet with them, the booster clubs and the youth hockey also know that we're gonna meet with them, Howie had told them, so it's just setting the date.
But you haven't gotten around to really sitting down
Setting a
around the
date
table
yet.
yet?
Not yet, not setting the date yet, but that will happen, I think, once hockey season, at end of February and
Good
into
luck.
March. Yeah, yeah. So, but that is for sure, cause we wanna know how everything's running and how where everything's getting spent, so. So I think actually Nancy is on that right now, she's starting that all up, so. Okay.
Well, it's due though,
It's
from
due.
what I've heard on it so far.
It's
You
due.
know.
Yep, we need to know, so. Anything else, Terry? No?
No, I just hope that meeting is productive, cause I tried to get a flavor of who's paying for what for the last 5 years. And it's kinda like peeling an onion,
Right.
you know, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to talk to anybody, and it's a secret and all this kinda stuff. You shouldn't have that.
No. Nope, not when the city and the county is together and we got the building and we're maintaining it. And wasn't it, Jan, that the city owns the building, but the county owns the property? I think that
We
was
don't
discussed
own the
that was
building.
discussed at our department head meeting.
I don't know, I didn't know that we owned it.
Yeah, that's what Teresa told Howie at our department head meeting, so it's something,
Tell them either they cooperate or you're gonna take your building and leave.
yeah. I think that's how it's set up or run now with that. And I think, don't quote me for that, but I think that's what I think Teresa was telling me at the department head meeting
Too
the other
late.
day, so.
Ron said.
Yeah.
Don't.
Look at that,
Yep,
Ron
Ron
said.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, the arena's is doing great, so, okay.
All right. Correspondence, anybody have anything else they wanna chat about?
Yeah, I was talking with Chuck the other day, and I said that, I thought we had to think about getting our date set for the Captain cleanup.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, that's in spring. What about like the last Saturday in April? When is prom? Does anybody have?
Oh, isn't that usually a Mother's Day?
Well, I think they changed it
It's
from Mother's
changed.
Day,
Has it?
so it's not Mother's Day anymore, but.
I wonder if I can look it up.
But I was just thinking, you know, if there's nothing going on, maybe the last week in April, maybe it would be decent to do it then,
Last Saturday in April?
yeah. And if we can get a date set, then we can, you know, you can go and talk to the Lions Club and stuff.
I'll talk to them about it. They'll be out there.
Just, bring it back next month and we'll hopefully have a certain date then, is that kinda what we're looking at? I know spring cleanup's always that first week in May.
For the city,
Yep.
So there could be the weekend before.
or do you bring up prom?
April 8th.
April 8th is
Prom.
prom.
April 8th? Oh, that's early. Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
All right, we'll need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All right, all
We're
in
leaving
favor,
right through
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
I think we got a good chairman here.
Get these meetings done.
Greg? No. Oh.
Okay, fine, Ronnie has to go out anyways.
That's MCI for that mowing.